So while it is true, as Jesus in the Gospel tells us, that he has come to save us all, salvation truly is a gift from God. It is a grace. That is why there are some people who would know the Lord directly, some indirectly. Regardless, it is important for us to realize that because salvation is a gift, it also depends on faith. It depends on our response. We need to cooperate with that response. How can we respond to God's gift of faith? We found yesterday in the Gospel that although Jesus performed the miracle of the loaves, many of them still could not recognize him as the new Moses, as the one who supplies them the bread of life from heaven, the bread that has come into this world. And this is where the question of ignorance comes. And yet it is more than just ignorance. It is simply because many of us, we are too proud to recognize that there is someone greater than ourselves. And this is precisely the problem with those people in the world who don't want to accept the power of God. They think they can resolve everything on their own. So today we are told that Philip went to a Samaritan town and proclaimed the Christ to them. Philip went there, the people responded. And they heard the message, they welcomed, and because they heard of the miracles, he worked and they saw them for themselves. So it is important that one of the ways in which we witness to Christ, there must always be this humility to be receptive, to be open. There is always a danger that many of us also, without humility, we cannot even see the miracles as signs from God. In fact, all of us, we encounter miracles in our lives, but not everybody ascribe to God. You can have an experience, but you must be able to recognize this experience, the message of that experience, and the origin of the experience. And this is where the people were receptive enough and they came to believe in God. Now there is another way we also bring Christ to others. The devout life of the people were also a source of inspiration. So sometimes, even in our life, persecutions in the church are not necessary obstacles to the growth of the church. In fact, persecutions sometimes are necessary to purify the church. And so even the persecutions of the early church actually brought about the opportunities for evangelization. And that's the whole problem with our church in Singapore. We are so complacent. So we don't have that urgency to spread the good news. So sometimes also in life is very important, even now as we are facing this complacent church, although complacency in our diocese is my assessment, based on the facts. But when we see the church back, you feel that, wow, the church is very vibrant. In one sense, we are, in one sense. But then if you think of the other 2/3 of Catholics and the many people we are called to evangelize, we are not doing our work. And so it is very important that sometimes we face the challenges. The challenges should not make us feel discouraged, should not make us feel disillusioned, but actually means that we got work to do. So these are issues, so it means to say there is work to be done. So in that sense, it is a blessing in disguise. When we encounter issues and problems, that is where we help the church really to grow. And so my task as the bishop, actually, I need to tell people the reality also, so that when people don't fall into complacency, then we will begin to evangelize. Otherwise, what is happening in our churches, there is a danger, a temptation to just maintain the church. Just maintain the people coming for Mass. So long as they are coming for Mass, there is donation, the church can be maintained, choirs, everything seems to be moving, that's good. How many people are converted? Doesn't matter, just so long as the church is packed. So this is where the question of the witnessing of the people. Then of course we are told that not only the people went to other places to witness, we are told the apostles fled behind. So this is where again witnessing. First, we need to have good Christians who are ready to stand up for Jesus. But there is also the other aspect, is the question of the witnessing of the apostles. The apostles stayed back. They didn't flee from the country because they provide stability to the church in Jerusalem. They were not cowards. They stayed back to fend for the sheep that stayed behind. And this is very important because at the end of the day, it's not enough just to have simply to have devoted, passionate lay Catholics. The leaders have to set the example. Leaders have to show the way. Leaders have to be passionate. Leaders have to be the one that will continue to provide stability, growth, formation. And so this morning we pray that the church will also grow like the early church, whether through witnessing of Catholics, whether through persecutions and challenges, or we pray for good leaders in our church, lay leaders and especially priests and religious, so that they can continue to provide the momentum and the inspiration for other Catholics to really bring Christ to the world.